afternoon. And good afternoon, everyone. This is the Tech Lunch Roundtable today on Thursday, May 9th, 2013. I am Jason.
And I'm Mish.
We are here today talking tech news. Our subject for today is email and internet, the history of it, and
kind of nuts and bolts with it, how
the nuts and
works.
bolts, exactly. Our website is smc.io. That actually stands for Stone Mountain Consultants, and that's us. .io, input-output. On that page is a bunch of stuff such as how to contact us through snail mail, email, our Google+, Facebook, our Twitter page, also our YouTube page. The nice thing about YouTube, you can subscribe to our channel, so anytime we upload videos, and yes, we do upload the audio portion of the shows that we do, and not just this show, but our other Sunday show on the Republic Broadcasting Network. We upload that as well. But when you do subscribe under YouTube, you will get a nice email saying Stone Mountain Consultants has uploaded a video, and of course you can listen to it anywhere you want and anytime you want. So that's convenient. You can also click on our show notes by clicking shows and then the respective show, for example today's, which is not up there right at the moment, but on there you will have links to usually every page or news item or anything like that we reference there, so you can always go back to there. And our phone number is, I'll let Mish say that because he has that, I believe, in front of him.
You don't know it by heart yet? It's 818-739-8894. But most people listen to us on the archive, so I am going to say we're not going to get any live callers, but it would be very different or surprising if we do, which is okay. I'm okay with new things.
So anyhow, our first topic here is the tech news, and actually there's been a few items that actually I just pulled up today.
Today, not yesterday?
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Actually, this morning. Actually, that didn't actually load.
Loading. Thank you.
Here we go. Back on article here again. It will be on our show notes page. Former FBI counter-terror agent. All phone calls in the U.S. are recorded by the government, which is what pretty much everybody suspected, but. A former FBI counterterrorism agent has hinted at the vast and intrusive surveillance network used by the U.S. government. His name is Tim Clement, I guess. He admitted this on a interview he had done on CNN Wednesday night, this past Wednesday, which I guess was yesterday, discussing the Boston Marathon attack and past telephone conversations of Catherine Russell, who was married to the suspect, Tamerlan Sarnoff. He basically had just said that the interviewer had basically said, you can certainly get voicemail messages, but, is that going to be enough? He said, no, there is a way. We certainly have ways in national security investigations to find out exactly what was said in that conversation. It's not necessarily something the FBI is going to want to present in court.
Because they can't, because they need a warrant in order to get that stuff, but they can use the same information to get other stuff that would be legitimate.
And then the interviewer says, so they can actually get that. People are saying, look, this is incredible. And then he goes on and says, no, welcome to America. All that stuff is being captured as we speak, whether we know it or like it or not. He actually even reiterated these statements on Thursday night. This must have been last week. On Thursday night, adding that all digital communications in the past are recorded and saved.
Yes. And further note on that, we'll be getting to the internet and, the nuts and bolts behind it. But what makes it very... A lot of people knew about this. They were called the echelon systems. Basically, it's a data storage device. And every piece of telecommunication goes through that. So when you call somebody, this is actually an interesting one. your call should actually connect a lot faster than it actually does. Because what it has to do is it has to go through this data store. I think there was, I can't remember where the big one, I think it's in...
Is it in Colorado or somewhere?
They have one in Colorado, but they have NSA has a brand new one. It's actually nearby where we are now. I think it's, I want to say Tennessee. I could be wrong. This new data storage place will be able to hold everybody's conversations, even people that have yet to be born, for 100 years. That includes any new conversations that occur. Because what happens is when you make a call, cell phone, landline, pretty much anything, unless it's even some governmental phones, but they have what's called, they used to be called stews. Basically, it was an encrypted phone. You would call another stew or another encrypted phone, and you would talk on it, and nobody could decipher that, and nobody could record it because it was like all you would hear would be static. And nobody would know what's going on.
Can you do that again?
I was thinking beaker, actually. But the biggest thing to note about it is that means that everything you've ever said is recorded, which means they can actually take something you said last week, something you said this week, and next week, and edit together to make it sound like you said something really, really, really bad. Kind of like, how long have we been doing shows for this? 10, 15 years?
Yep.
There's enough of us saying, don't do this, President Obama, and then we talked about maybe this one program being the bomb, or something like that. They can actually edit it to such a degree, and some of the NSA people actually know what they're doing and know how to edit things. Most do not. That's why when you go with lowest bidder, yeah, they actually can actually make you out to be a bad person, even though you're not. That's why a lot of these times when they come out, like FBI comes out with saying this guy is our suspect, it's like that was kind of quick. No, used to take it. Investigations used to take months, weeks, because there's something called due process and red tape. Now they're done in like a week or two. Like, we got the guy. Yay, he's dead now. Woohoo.
And another article here: police want "quote unquote" kill switch for smartphones.
Yeah.
An epidemic of cell phone swiping has prompted calls for a kill switch that would render mobile devices inoperable if they end up in the wrong hands.
Or you didn't pay your taxes or your bill. Maybe you may have been late this week, or you lost the bill. Oh, we'll just kill your... There, killed. Thanks. Bye. Sorry.
Right. Their argument here is they want to
probably protect them.
When a phone is stolen or in the wrong hands, they can be able to turn it off.
Well, most people, there's an app for that. Why have a kill switch when you can just remote wipe your phone or make it have a high pitched whine like iPhones and whatnot? I mean, what is it? Windows Phone has the same, and so does Android.
Well, Apple already has a patent out there where the phone can be deactivated.
Yep.
Via its location.
So I find it very funny is that most of the companies have protection or end user level protection for you. You just do this and there you go. Whereas now they just want the government or whoever to have broad sweeping ability to just turn off your phone. Maybe I bought a phone for somebody and they're using it. Then I just feel vindictive one day and kill their phone. Oh, jerk.
Jerk.
I am a jerk. Jerk.
Nordstrom, which is the department store, tracking customer movement via smartphones, Wi-Fi sniffing.
Huh.
let's see what the article says. It says it's planning to do with the information it gleans from tracking customers' movements throughout their stores.
And then they leave because prices and stuff that they don't like. No.
The company spokeswoman has said that sensors in the stores are collecting information from customers' smartphones as those phones automatically scan for Wi-Fi service. The spokesman said that the sensors monitor which departments you visit and for how long, but the sensors don't actually follow your phone from department to department.
Right.
They don't identify personal information.
Right.
Tied to the phone's owner.
Right.
Nordstrom plugged in the technology in October, but hasn't done anything with the data it's collected. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say that, well, I think we had a line issue there, but I was going to say, right, my name is George, last name Washington, and I live in Western Virginia. That's the only true part.
Supposedly, Nordstrom says they'll eventually use these anonymous aggregate reports to enhance the shopping experience, for example, increasing staffing during high traffic times, keeping more registers open, or by tweaking a department's layout.
Oh, I would have too much fun with that. I'd find, go to a high school and say, hey guys, get your smartphones, go to the place at, the middle of the night, and basically ruin their statistics so that they are fully staffed at night. Like at 2 a.m. there, just like they got people on every register, and I just laughed my butt off.
John Fu, or F.U., but I guess his last name is Fu, marketing director for UseLid, the company that provides the tracking service. Apparently, while the company provides the technology to collect information about us, it's wary about disclosing information about its clients, citing, ironically enough, privacy concerns.
Duh.
So probably the best thing against that is when you enter Nordstrom's and
turn off your Wi-Fi.
Turn off your Wi-Fi.
Yep.
Exactly. And at this point, I don't know if there's any others that are doing that, but right now, Nordstrom seems to be, well, like I said, I don't know if there's any other department stores doing that, but if they're starting, I'm sure there's others coming next.
Yes, and Nordstrom's not exactly a small thing. All those sensors got to be expensive, too.
Right. And we will be right back after this break.
Be right back.
My problem is I've got my pointer in the middle of the screen, and I need to move it to the left, but my mouse is over on the left-hand side of the pad. And if I go any further to the left, it's going to go off the pad. Anyway, if you could give me a call, I'd appreciate it. I'll wait until I hear from you.
Some people just can't be helped. For everybody else, here's the Computer Tamers.
Hello?
Your computer running slow? Or maybe you just need a newfangled Windows 7 upgrade. Trust your most important piece of hardware to the software experts at the Computer Tamer. They can even remote into your machine to get it up to speed by removing dangerous viruses and malware. That saves you time, gas, and maybe even your sanity. Get in touch with the Computer Tamers today to discuss customizing a happy computing healthcare solution to meet your own unique needs.
How exactly would I do that?
Log on to thecomputertamers.com.
And .com stands for what again?
The Computer Tamers.
It's a digital world.
We make it easy.
Did you know that each year 1 in 10 laptops are lost or stolen? 1 in 4 computers suffer data loss, and 7 in 10 firms with major data loss go under. Never risk your critical data files on undependable manual backups or inferior data storage solutions. Face it, data loss is a fact of life. It's not if you're going to lose your data, it's when. Protect your business with the most secure and reliable backup solution available. The single most valuable business insurance you can buy is just a click or a phone call away. Call Stone Mountain Consultants at 276-664-1476 or check out their website at smc.io. That's smc.io.
And we're back here on the Tech Plunge Roundtable show, Blog Talk Radio. We do have a weekly poll as well on our website. Upper right-hand corner, once I update that, actually I think it is already updated, on how you use the Internet, since that is our topic for this week's show, which we can head right into.
Did you want me to go out and nerd out on everybody again?
Yes. Okay, so our topic is basically the nuts and bolts of the Internet and email, kind of how it started, some of the do's and don'ts, specifically with emails. We'll start with the Internet.
I'll go over the start of the Internet. Back in olden days, caveman days, when they had BODs in their modems. We have cable modems now. Anyway, actually the Internet was started, it's basically just interconnected networks. So a bunch of wires going from one computer to another computer that make a little network, and then a big butt wire going to another network, and then vice versa, and then you start to connect them all, and then you have the Internet. The first iteration was called the Arpanet, which was back in caveman days, otherwise known as Cold War, to start because they wanted, as Jason alluded to on the other show, which I didn't say, but he did say, well, I'm going to say it this time, was for, in case, like, say, New York got bombed into the Stone Age. Well, in case telecommunications went down, it would, in a sense, have a alternate route, so you would actually not lose your infrastructure. So you would know, oh, New York is gone. Or maybe Cincinnati's gone. But who would bomb Cincinnati? I don't know. Like Baltimore. Who wouldn't want to go to Baltimore? The start of the Internet and how it works is basically the real start of what we call the Internet now was when Tcp, which is the protocol, got introduced, which is basically how you send and receive, well, information on the Internet. Because what happens is, your computer, when you send information to, say, you know, you're going to google.com or you're sending an email or whatever, you're sending packets, little bits or bytes of the total package. So think of it like from real world terms. Think of it like the mail system or UPS or something like that. You're sending a 100-page document to somebody. I'm sending it to Jason. He lives in Cincinnati. Well, instead of putting it all in one big envelope and sending it off to him, I send off snippets of it. Maybe a page here, maybe a page there, maybe even just a half a page. But I line them up, and I have a little, almost a serial number, page 1 of 1, page 2 of 2, kind of thing, and then I send them off. Because anybody knows the mail system, stuff gets lost, and sometimes stuff doesn't arrive the same time. So when he receives it, he's like, oh, okay, I got 1, 2, 55, and 100 so far, and then the rest come in. So he can actually line them up and say, oh, okay. The reason why they did that is because it doesn't actually bog down the network because if I'm sending Jason a huge file, means I can't send that through the network. You know, phone line would just be totally dead. So they made it so that you just have a steady stream of information going in. Kind of like emptying a water in a hose. You don't put the whole bucket in, you just put a little in through the hose at a time. But like I was saying, some stuff gets lost, so what happens is, it's called, what is it called? I can't remember now. It is called packet loss. packet loss. Basically, stuff I'm sending to Cincinnati, but it ends up in Borneo. So what happens is your computer often sends out doubles of everything. So, and when it does get there, the receiver computer actually knows, okay, this is a double, or this was the in case of loss, and so it then innocent throws away in case it has already received it. If it hasn't received it before, it uses that in its stead. And basically, that's how internet started, and kind of where it still is at the same point. That's the reason why, you often hear us complaining about our internet here, which is the latency, which means how fast that those packets are being sent and received. And computers move at the speed of light. So when they're not receiving something in a timely manner, they get upset. And there's an artificial point that they put into the computer to make it wait a full, like a second or two, which in a computer term is like forevers. I mean, that's like days and days and days, because it can do so many cycles in a second. So what happens is it will sit there and try again until it then times out. Because if it didn't time out, everything you do would be have an error.
Right, and that's why a slow internet connection, or you can even have a fast internet connection, but you can have slow latency or high latency, actually, is what the term is. Like satellite users have a hard time, almost to the point they can't use VoIP, voice over IP, like Skype or Uvu or anything like that, because of that latency. They can't play games. Because when you're playing a game online, you have a very tough time getting that response back.
Yes.
Even if it is 2-3 seconds, which browsing the internet or using your email is no big deal. But when you're requiring an almost instant response, like talking on the phone, is a problem.
Exactly.
And that's in those packets and all, like he was referring to, is what we call TCP IP. Most folks have maybe even heard of that.
It's the reason why everybody has an IP address. And it works the same way that your phone works, actually. You need to have a phone number in order to call somebody. Well, you need an IP address, same basically a phone number, to use the internet or contact somebody. Right, and now every computer, in a way, has an IP address, but in order to save IP addresses, because there's obviously a certain amount that they can give out, in fact, for what they call IP version 4, we are actually running out of IP version 4 IP addresses. One way they were able to extend the life of IP version 4 is by going over to using routers, which a lot of folks have. And what a router will do is will take that public IP address that you're getting from the cable company or satellite company, and then redistributing it to all of your laptops or devices on your network to what we call non-routable IP addresses. So you only have one external IP address on the internet. That's all being shared by the internal units by what they call non-routable one, which can't be seen from the outside world. There is a new version of IP called version 6, and eventually someday will probably be transferred all over to version 6. The problem with that is all the old crap don't work.
Right. Routers, switches, hubs, operating systems, net cards, network cards, everything needs to be upgraded. Now, the last few years, if you had bought a router, Windows 7, even Vista, I believe, did support IP version 4. I'm sorry, IP version 6. And I don't know what the numbers are. While we are running out of IP version 4 numbers, IP version 6 is almost limitless. Because eventually everything is probably going to have an IP address. Your blender, your refrigerator, a phone. If you think about it right now, even new TVs are plugged into your Wi-Fi. If it has Wi-Fi or if it's on your network, it has an IP address. So you might have a TV, a cell phone, a tablet, 2 computers, a printer. That's just
stopping the tip of the iceberg. But like the regular IP address are 4 sets of 3 numbers, and they're called octets. But the new IP version, so you only have what 999,900,900,900 whatever permutations. But the new version, it's 4 sets of 4 characters, but you have numbers and letters in there, and they say that it can be used up to, can have 8 to the 10 times 10 to the 20th power many IP addresses. So basically, you can have 50 billion IP addresses, and it's still enough for everybody, which is kind of cool.
And so it's what we call TCP IP, and like Misha was saying, I think earlier, you have headers, you have footers, and that's what confirms. There's what they call TCP Acknowledgement. When you go out to a website, your computer will go out to the server saying, I'm looking for this. The server will send it back. Then they'll actually say, did you get it? Then your computer will say, yes, I did get it, that type of thing. So all that does go through pretty fast, as you can see. Because on a regular network connection, the website comes up almost right away. I guess when we come back from the break, there's something called DNS servers, which stands for Domain Name Servers, and basically that is the phone book of the Internet. If you, when you type in CNN.com, for example, the Internet doesn't know CNN.com as CNN.com. It actually knows it by its, again, IP address. So if you were to type in the IP address of, say, CNN.com, the IP address of it, you'll get to CNN's website. For example, I don't know if you can... Yeah, so for example, one of CNN's IP addresses is 157.166.241.11. If you were to type that in a web browser, you would get to the CNN page.
Exactly.
Just like if you had typed in CNN.com. So how does that all work? Well, when we come back from the break, we'll explain that and then go over our email nuts and bolts when we come back.
Okay, bagel? Check. Coffee? Oh yeah, check. Hey, did the Sox win last night? Let's see. Oh, come on. This thing is so slow. This is just ridiculous.
Tired of your computer wasting your valuable time? Then it's time to get it tamed from the Stone Mountain Consultants. They can remote right in and get it up to speed. Call them at 276-664-1476 or visit their website at smc.io.
Do you have a small business? Do you have a hobby that you want to share with others? You need your own website. It's not as complicated as you think. A website is much, much more than having a simple Facebook page. You don't own or control what you post on Facebook. Did you know that? With your own website, you control and maintain your own content. It's all yours. We here at Stone Mountain Consultants can help you from the start in creating your own space on the information superhighway. We can help you create your own domain, start up your website. We can even help you maintain it. Call Stone Mountain Consultants at 276-664-1476 or check out our website at smc.io. Again, that's 276-664-1476 or check out our website at smc.io. We'll be more than happy to help. And welcome back here. at Tech Lunch Roundtable. Woohoo! Today is, of course, May 9th, 2013. I am Jason.
I'm Mish.
Okay. Our website is smc.io. smc.io. If you have any questions, you can certainly give us a call at
818-739-8894. How's on the ball there?
On our page, you will see the links to our Google, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube pages, and all that. But obviously, we're Stone Mountain Consultants, which is what the SMC in our domain name stands for.
I did not know that.
And we obviously consult with anything technology related. You know, it really started with computers, desktops, and laptops, but nowadays it's networking, server, tablets, absolutely, phones. You know, a lot of folks are buying tablets as secondary computers. We actually, I think, had mentioned that in last week's episode, which was buying a computer or a tablet or a phone. We do website design, email hosting, web hosting. It's not just websites, it's email. As we say, it's good to have a Facebook page, but it's even better to have a website as well, because with Facebook, you don't own anything on there. With a website, it stays with you, and you, of course, own all that information that you plop on there. So certainly, if you have any, we can remote in, assist you with any issues. So if you have anything that comes up, certainly give us a call, and our contact information is on there. I also want to mention that we're going to be sponsoring and attending the 30th Annual Homeschooling Convention next month in Richmond, Virginia. Information is on our website. I believe it's June 7th through the 8th.
I think so, too.
Actually, 6th through the 8th, Thursday through Saturday. This is actually the largest homeschooling convention in the country. We will have a booth there. I'm just waiting to get our booth number. But we are going to be sponsoring it as well. We're going to be providing some of the computer equipment that they'll be using as well. So if you want to check in with us, stop over and see us. Like I said, we'll have more information as time goes on.
Cool.
Before the break, I was going over DNSs. Again, they are the domain naming servers. The DNS servers are domain naming services, or servers. Basically, they're the phone book of the Internet. When you type in CNN.com, instead of needing to know the IP address of the server, you can just type in CNN.com. We are, so what happens, just so you know, why sometimes the Internet can be just a little slower than normal. You know, let's say CNN comes up right away, but you go to bigboondockswebsite.com, that may take a few extra minutes to come up. What happens is when you type in the website into your browser will go and check a local DNS server, usually on your computer, and say, hey, I got a request here to go to this website. Where do I go? If it's not in that DNS server, it'll then go to the next one. It's sort of in a hierarchy level. Typically, the next one is in your Internet provider's network. So if you have, say, Comcast, it'll go to one of Comcast's DNS servers, and again, look it up. If it's not in there, it'll go to the next higher up DNS server until it finds it, and then ultimately it can go to the actual website. And that's why, you know, when you go to a website, if the local DNS or your ISP's DNS doesn't have that information in its system, it can take an extra few moments for it to find it. Most DNS servers have a cache, and they'll keep that for 24 hours typically. So after 24 hours, all of the information that has gone through it, lookups basically, will be cleared away. That's why if you go to that same website, let's say a few hours later, it'll come up almost right away because it's in its cache. If you go to it next day, it might take an extra long time because it has to go through all that anyway, back to it. So that kind of explains what DNS servers are, why they are actually important. They're becoming more secured as well, as a side note, because obviously with this telephone book type role it has, if the DNS server gets hacked into, and they have been, people can put in bankofamerica.com, goes to the DNS server, this is where you go. Well, if it gets hacked into, it can be redirected without you knowing it. And you could be at a website that really looks like Bank of America, but it's not. The newer versions of the browsers like Chrome and Firefox, Internet Explorer, I'm not sure about Apple Safari, or even Opera, but they will try to let you know if you are misdirected, I guess you can say, misredirected. But it is something to watch out for. So, but email, so that's for the internet. Email, there are different varieties of email, of course. Most folks are familiar with two, such as web-based mail, and that's like getting your email through the web, Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, can't think of any other large, Hotmail, which is being, of course, faded out to live.com, or is it outlook.com. And that's webmail. You're actually accessing the email server online, and all the email is saved online. Another form that some folks are familiar with, typically if you've got a business, you usually, what we call, pop into the email server. It's called a POP account, and I think POP stands for point of presence. It's kind of just like having a physical mailbox like you have at your house. The email provider has a mailbox for you, an email box for you, that your email program, Outlook, commonly used, will go out, check the mailbox. If there's something in it, it grabs it, moves it down to your computer. If there's nothing there, of course it does nothing. The mailbox, the problem with POP accounts is that mailbox can only be so big, just like your mailbox on your road. If there's something too large, usually the mail gets rejected. And actually, POP stands for Post Office Protocol. I think I said point of presence.
Yes, it's okay. You just want a present.
Right. So that's the issue with, one of the issues with POP accounts or POP accounts. The other issue is they're very unreliable. They get locked out of your own account, because what you're doing is your computer is going out and checking that mailbox every few moments, just like you going over to your mailbox every few minutes waiting for a mail item. The newer form of email is typically, well, we're not newer, but becoming increasingly popular, is something called Exchange. Exchange is something that Microsoft developed years ago, and it's pretty much became the standard for email. It's extremely robust, it's fast. I think we're coming up with a break, so I'll go into detail on that when we come back. But a lot of folks are still using POP accounts.
Yes, this is true.
Another issue with POP accounts is if something were to happen to your computer, your email gets lost because it's sitting on your computer. A lot of folks have folders, for example. Maybe you have a folder for each one of their clients. They'll have a folder for each one, and that's only stored on that computer. And with the rise of mobile devices such as tablets and smartphones, or even multiple computers, people are trying to access that same email account on more than one device. Well, if your computer is your main device, it has all that information on it. It's like, add that account on my, say, phone, I can get my mail, but none of that additional information is stored on that phone, like all the folders, the sent items, there's no calendar, etc. Exchange is what fixes all that. So when we actually come back, I'll go over Exchange and the benefits of it, when we come back.
Email is critical for business. In fact, it's revolutionized the way we conduct business. But when it's not working or optimized, it causes major problems. Did you know that 1/3 of in-house email outages last more than 24 hours? Many businesses say sales numbers are impacted after only 1 hour without email. And today's workforces are more virtual than ever, requiring instant access to email, up-to-date calendars, contacts, and tasks from anywhere at any time. But not all email is worth your time. It's estimated that more than 80% of email is spam. So the question is, are you managing your email, or is your email managing you?
Call the Computer Tamers at 860-456-1310 or visit thecomputertamers.com.
Do you enjoy our radio shows?
Help us stay on the air.
Right now, both Mish and Jason pay for this show out of their own pockets.
If you would like to help bring our helpful shows, please consider donating or sponsoring us.
Help keep our internet broadcast running. Go on over to our website at www.smc.io and click the donate button, or email us at help@smc.io to sponsor.
Again, that's www.smc.io.
And we are back. This is the Tech Lunch Roundtable. We have been talking about the internet and how it works, and Jason Dwish went over the nuances of the DNS and how it works. But he basically alluded to how Exchange is the way to go, and I, of course, played our email commercial. But Exchange is basically, if you want to think about like in the real world of mail, regular post office protocol, the POP, is like, U.S. Postal Service, whereas the main, like your Exchange, is more like UPS or a hand-delivered courier, which is working just for you. All your email is on the server and it's saved. I was actually, I just transferred somebody that was actually using a Exchange on their own server to a hosted Exchange because they had gotten what's called relayed off of and spammed. And then their IP address got blacklisted, fun stuff. And so when you're Exchange, when you're hosted Exchange, it's so much better, because the thing about when you're running your own server is
takes an awful lot of resources to maintain that. You may have to maintain a connection, you have to maintain the server, you have to maintain, like you were saying, you have to, they got relayed off of, they had no idea they were being, what we call relayed off of, which is basically a spammer had gained access to their computer and had sent hundreds of thousands of spam messages. They really didn't know that was actually happening
until they couldn't get an email, and their programs were running dirt slow. That's awesome. Anyway, so one of the things about Exchange that makes it more robust is the fact that it keeps a copy both on your computer and the server, and generally the server is, well, backed up and has a, and that's why we like the hosted Exchange.
Right, it has multiple redundant locations where your mail is actually stored. So if the main server had pretty much had been inaccessible, the other one takes over.
Exactly. So when Armageddon comes, I mean, maybe the West Coast is all destroyed. Well, the East Coast server is still good.
Right, you can still get your spam.
Yeah.
What was I going to say?
I have no idea.
All the email and everything is stored on the server. Email, calendar, tasks, and all that. So, like
cool.
in the POP world, like I was saying, if your folders and so forth, your client folders are only stored on one location, let's say your desktop or laptop, with an Exchange, all that's stored on the server. So all the folders and calendar items are not only on your computer, but if you've got like a tablet or a phone, once you add that account, all that stuff will be synchronized up, including your sent items, everything that's in the folder, so it actually stays with you. If your computer crashes, even, for example, if you get a new computer, no big deal. You just add the account back in the program like Outlook, and all the information will be downloaded. It may take a little bit, but nothing is lost. You can still work.
Exactly. I mean, I've changed my computer. Actually, our phones. I mean, we just had to get replacement phones recently, and so we had to re-put them in. But it's so much easier. You just put it in. Doot, doot, doot. I have all my contacts, all my email, all my everything. It's so much better. It makes POP look like, archaic devices.
And also, speaking of spam, Exchange folders have a much higher spam detection rate.
Yes.
Extremely good. You do have a junk email folder typically, but it will stop a lot more spam than your typical POP account as well.
POP would be like, oh, you want those Cialis, right? Yeah, yeah, Viagra, yeah. Oh, you want this one that says that's from Cincinnati, even though it says it's really from Rangoon.
And also your mailbox size is unlimited. So your mailbox can be as large as it needs to be.
And I've seen some large inboxes in my day.
Wow, what websites are you going to?
Inboxes, not websites.
And not only that, but usually on a POP account, the limit on a per email account is usually like 5 megs, maybe 10 megs as far as attachments. So, pictures easily, even a picture taken on an iPhone, I believe, is 5 megs.
Yeah.
With Exchange, that limit rises up to 20 gigs.
Yeah.
So it's a more robust system. It is a little more expensive, of course, but you are getting, look at all the features that you're getting that you're not getting with the POP account. You also have...
Buy nice or buy twice.
It's true. You have email archiving, where it will archive your email for X amount of years due to all the regulations that are out there. It'll even mirror your email on another server. You can add disclaimers to it. Every email that you send, it's an automatic thing. So it's usually by how many mailboxes you need. If you need 3 email boxes, then there's 3 accounts. You can also have, what's nice is aliases. So like me, for example, what I typically do is, my first name is, of course, spelled Jaison. My main email account is Jason, Jaison, at smc.com. smc.io.com.
smc.com goes somewhere. You know what it is.
If you don't know that there's an I in my name, I set up an alias that has Jason, Jason, at smc.com. And it'll still go to my mailbox.
Yes.
So you can have multiple aliases. So that's another feature with POP, very difficult to do. So that's pretty much nuts and bolts. I can't think of anything else really about email. Email is still really unsecured.
Yep.
Because when it was first developed, nobody ever thought of spam.
Yep. And also the fact that people use email like an instant messenger, which is wrong. Because you have the email, how the system is made is it has 48 hours to get to you, which is 3 days.
True.
Actually, no, that's 2 days. Sorry, 72 hours is 2 days. So people expect, it will tell you that, you'll be receiving an email shortly. Although a lot of times things happen quickly, don't expect that to always occur. Especially like when there's high traffic at times. I digress.
I forgot what I was going to say again.
I do that a lot to people. Mess with their ability to remember what they're saying.
And that's why spam is so popular, because email is free to be sent, and you can
do it quickly and send it out.
Not just quickly, but you can also falsify the header information, like who's it from,
yes,
the address even. Like people have seen probably when they set up an email account in their program, it'll even ask them what do you want it to say from whatever name.
Google butter.
Right. You can do that or email address, so it's easily be forged. And that's why spam is so popular because it's free. There are working their ways around it. It's called authentication.
I also wanted to add money to it where you actually had to pay something. It's like, no.
Well, that's what somebody has suggested. Maybe you put like
a tenth of a cent.
Which really isn't that much, but for a spammer, that's a lot of money.
A couple billion. Of course, then when you're relaying off to somebody, they're paying that, and talk about ruining it for everybody.
True.
So I think that's it for this week's show. I think our outro music should be beginning anytime soon. Once I find it and actually play it. I have no idea where it is.
Okay, so see you next week. I believe next week's topic is on Microsoft Office.
Woohoo!
And other Office products, actually.